Thank you for joining us today on Earthfile. Welcome to the program. I'm Ayola Kasim. Heavy rains have ravaged 30 of Nigeria's 36 states. According to the government, over 1 million people have been affected, 269 lives tragically lost, and more than 640,000 have been displaced from their homes. Maiduguri town in Borno State, a humanitarian hub in the northeast, is at the epicenter of the crisis. Many of the displaced had already been uprooted by conflict or the effects of the climate crisis. Close to 400,000 people temporarily displaced have been registered in 30 relocation sites in the affected areas. Today, we will look at how the flood victims are coping with the disaster and more. Back on the ground, and just for a brief moment, our equipment provided some distraction for the victims, especially the children, who have formed a throng along the Shewu's Palace Road, most of them expecting some help from their community heads or the government. This father of 5 is yet to find any member of his household. Dejected, he's there with a crowd, hoping to find a neighbor who could help with any information that could lead him to his family.
They announced us about the water. They said that we should not sleep. They will not sleep. In the morning, the water is reaching us like this. As I see the water come too much, I told my family to just go out. That day before yesterday in the morning, they go out and leave me. Later, I can't see the water is too much. I later come out of the farm. I go to Abaganaram Primary School there. From there, yesterday in the afternoon, they go and meet us. They said that they'll park us to here, Babagana Wakil here. We are here since that day yesterday, and nobody come and meet us. They said that we should come and wait for pass. Nobody come and meet us. As I'm talking to you, I don't know where are my family since that day yesterday, and their phone is not going. Me too, I lost my phone at the water. So this is my problem, and hunger there with us now. As I'm talking to you, since that yesterday, I never eat anything up till now, and Kobo not there with me. But my mom, since that yesterday, their phone is not going. The water reached their place. Even she, I don't know where she now, my mom. But I have 5 children and my wife, yes, with me.
So what is your ask? What are you asking for?
I'm asking for, I want you people to help me and confirm about my family and get what I will eat now. Then later, and I don't have an actually job as I'm talking to you.
We heard many heart-rending stories like this from many people on the streets of Maiduguri as a result of the floods. Many of these people are just trying to rebuild their lives and livelihoods after more than a decade-long insurgency. Lawan Ghana, known as Doctor by his friends, works as a temporary staff for non-governmental organizations to help with vaccinations across the city. Today, he's displaced and he finds the government wanting.
Even I see one of the car that brought food from Damaturu, Yobe State, to people, and people fighting. Some are getting the food, some are not getting the food. You know, this condition is very critical. We need government to look up seniors today. And SEMA from Damaturu, Yobe State, are come and distributing some pass, but we are not looking anything now. Up to now, people need food, water, and it's not much, it's scarce. People are looking for that things. We are not looking for money. We are not looking for anything. We are just looking for food now. We need food. We need some water, availability of food and water. And even after that, if you enter to that area, you can see that no even good place to stay, no mat to stay. The thing is too much. The government, just I hear people saying that government is produce some committee to look over there, but the committee is too late. For now, we need an emergency response from the government, since the need of people is...
Graham says More than 4 million people in Borno State were already in severe food distress before the flooding. The Boko Haram insurgency since 2009 had forced hundreds of thousands of villagers in and around Maiduguri to flee over the years. Among those affected by the floods are those who still live in the camps for displaced persons set up in Maiduguri and who have not been able to return to their homes. These camps are now also housing the citizens. In Bakassi camp on Dombua Road, Mohammed is waiting. He told us that this is a trauma he cannot compare to anything he has ever witnessed in his life. And he thought he had seen it all before this flood.
I can say it's a trauma. I haven't experienced such in my life. If I could remember the 1994 flood disaster, I have witnessed it, but this one is quite different. I can say it's very disturbing and it is pandemonium. I almost lost my son, this Muhammad. He went out when the floods reached us. Before he couldn't be able to reach home. It is one of our neighbors that helped us bring him home. I even lost hope that I may not see him.
What about their mom? Have you been able to see their mom?
We have been strapped on top of a one-story building for 3 days since on Monday. It was on Wednesday evening when one canoe came to our location and we tried to persuade him to evacuate us. He said that we must pay 2,000 for each person, but I persuaded him to accept 1,500. That's what we pay before we were being evacuated from that area.
But authorities say they are doing their best to help the situation.
Looking at the thousands of people that are affected, in a situation like this, you can't do enough because of the number of people affected. However, as I said, the structures have been set up. As you can see, there are several partners. The camp coordination, camp management structures have been set up. The state government is also doing its best. They started the wet feeding the very day they established this camp. And we are all providing the necessary things we have. You can see the mobile clinic. For us, we started by providing emergency assistance to those that are distressed. And we've been also providing water. The water you're seeing here is not as a result of rainfall. It's the tanks that have been delivering the water. You can see storage tanks have been provided so that the water will be offloaded in them. And of course, we know it's inadequate. And we've been discussing this since yesterday to add additional cooking points and servers so that we would reach those that are affected. And we don't want a situation where there will be congestion. The registration here was stopped since day before yesterday, and it was expected to resume last night and continue, because at the moment we profiled 2,466 households here with a population of over 8,000 or 9,000 people. The more people we have here, we want to avoid an outbreak. So that is why the registration was stopped here, and it will continue.
There are lessons learned. Today is much better than yesterday, and yesterday was better than the day before. So we have decided, the camp management has decided to group them. My mandate is to cook. Once it's ready, I hand over to my colleague, the other commissioner, who coordinates the feeding. But what they have resolved in our coordination meeting is to group them house by house. So we learn by the day. I'm sure when you come tomorrow, it's going to be better. It's not something we planned for. We are only mitigating and responding to the situation.
All across the camps, the complaints are the same. The quantity of items provided are never enough for the number of victims they are to cater for. Thousands of frustrated people waiting for food, water, or medicine. This puts a strain on aid agencies and government resources, exacerbating an already critical humanitarian crisis. But it seems to run well when the plan works. Family representative Aisha with her household's breakfast. For easy coordination, the internally displaced persons have been grouped by their households, each member of the household having a feeding voucher to curb racketeering. And when the food landed, it was a moment of joy for Aisha's clan members. Where is Tayo? But there are still those who do not like the arrangement here at the camps. Jumai Musa wants more than just food. She worries about the state of hygiene in the camp, saying a lot of waterborne diseases, diarrheal diseases, malaria is around with a lot of mosquitoes. She seeks an alternative.
So let's gather one line so they will share the thing where the people they want to help us. The people they will not gather one place. They will just rush and so if we continue sit down here, maybe cholera will catch us. With the young so we need help so that we will live here.
The lack of access to clean water, good sanitation and hygiene practices is responsible for nearly 88% of the country's disease burden, with children bearing the highest burden. According to a study, Nigeria is the second highest contributor to global under-5 mortality rates from diarrhea, with over 151,700 deaths each year.
Medical ward has been cleared, clean, disinfected, and some of the rooms have been fumigated. You can see the soakaways, the sewages have been mixed with the flooded water. So we are afraid of all these waterborne diseases. So we've taken care of that, and now it's fully functional. And also the maternity, amenity ward is also functional. It has been cleaned, it has been disinfected, and where there are needs of fumigation, it has been done, and patients are there receiving services. And we are now thinking of the oxygen plant. The water is still there, it's still waterlogged, but the water level has calmed down, and we are sure some of the machines have also been submerged. So we would like to have an assessment before we talk of maybe starting oxygen production. But certainly it's one of our lifelines, especially for our premature babies, those that are oxygen dependent. Actually, we depended on the machine. I think that was how we affected it. And that's just infrastructure-wise. Then human resource too. Most of our staffers have been affected, myself inclusive. So I think the devastation was so enormous that they don't have nothing, not a single shit on them. There are those that came out of the house just with sneakers. So it will affect the services of those because they cannot come in. They have to cater for their families. And some were caught. They are not seriously affected, but then the routes leading to the hostel was cut off. So the following day, I think less than 20% of the staff came on board. I think that was how we were seriously affected. And added to that, even the patient and patient relations were also affected because there were no clear roads to come into the hospital.
Many others are still counting their losses. Green Concern for Development, a not-for-profit organization which works with the poor and socially excluded people in Borno State, has paused its operations.
Our items, the wash items, nutrition items, our drugs, as we took those photos, they were all spoiled and it has all been damaged. Our warehouse there has been submerged by water already. There are some other few items that were left we couldn't carry. They were all submerged by the flood. We had to give 2 ratio. Yes, we were supposed to give a ratio on weekly basis. Yes, so but we have to double it in order to meet up or to reduce the green in our possession.
Why do you have to do that?
We had to do that because instead of giving them this week and we wait for the next week to give them, and we are threatened by water, we say, okay, just keep it in your possession. We are done for you for this week and the next week. So that was the idea we come up with. And then packing it to this way, water actually.
So what's your plan now?
Yeah, we are actually looking at partners and donors to support us. Because most of this, if you look at our office, most items has been damaged. And on our own, we cannot do it alone.
The United Nations says the flooding is happening at the height of a food and nutrition crisis, the lean season. On the 14th of September, a high-level delegation led by the humanitarian coordinator and comprising representatives of humanitarian agencies visited Maiduguri to express continued support for the operation and solidarity with the people of Maiduguri.
And what we do in general in this kind of context is that we continue to step up the work related to the rescue and saving life of those people as we respond to the immediate need of those that have already been rescued or that have been already relocated to safer place. That's the kind of twofold response that UN is working on. Now, my other point is also everything is about coordination. And as you say, even we, the reason and the message we want to send through this joint mission, which we could have undertaken on an individual basis, it is to show to the people, is to show to the partner, to show to the government how UN want to be united around the response on this. And what we wanted also is to have an idea on how issues are prioritized by seeing on ourselves. And if you look at today, the priority, I think for me, the first one probably I would mail is those who are still trapped, how to get them out of there. Then those that you have relocated in safer place, how you can race against time to make sure that you save their life.
Tracking what is being delivered so that we can identify gaps in terms of delivery. And of course, on the back of that, what we're also then trying to do is to mobilize resources as people or agencies, all our partners are emptying out their emergency stocks so that we can replenish these in time so that people can get through this crisis.
The Nigerian military activated 22 disaster response units in Borno and across northeast Nigeria to help reach inaccessible areas and undertake search and rescue for people trapped by the flooding.
We in the military, in conjunction with other security agencies, have done the best we could, and we are still doing. You can see the area of resources we have, the boats. We have some trucks that only those type of trucks could access where people were trapped. Where we could not go, but the trucks can. When the trucks get there, the boats are lowered to go and evacuate those trapped, brought back into the trucks. You can see one of the trucks there. So far, we have been able to evacuate as many as possible. An estimate of over 20,000. So it hasn't been easy, but we thank God. So when they are brought, we have established a medical outfit just to my right there. That medical outfit gives succor to those who present problems. I mean health problems. Some are they are exhausted, and you know, hunger is one of those things. So we make arrangements, give them the necessary treatment, the first aid. Where we cannot handle, we'll be able to give them the first aid and then make sure they are moved to the teaching hospital.
With the dam not being accessible to the public and located on the road which leads to Bama, the second largest community midway between Maiduguri and the Cameroonian borders, with security checks mounted on the road, we were only able to go there by joining the military rescue team. Life seems to have returned to normal for the people of Alo community. Fisher folks are back on the Ngada River, the river that feeds the Alo dams. Many residents depend on the river for their livelihoods, and with the water level down, they are back at work. The collapsed reservoir is one of two in the area, and the one that has evidently been abandoned for years. The other looks well maintained and protected, but we were not allowed to film it. The damaged Earthfile Dam was overtopped after the heavy rainfall, with no solid spillway to control the passage of the surplus water over and around it. Inadequate spillway has eroded the dam over the years. The last heavy rainfall washed off a side of the embankment, and the free flow of water still finds its way to the city. It is also not designed to permit uncontrolled flow of water downstream. What followed have been a disaster.
You are right, because we have problem of maintenance in the dam. We had a similar disaster 30 years ago, although the extent is not up to this one. But I believe the dam requires reconstruction. Now that we used to receive increasing volume of water into the dam, coupled with climate change, there's the need for us to increase the carrying capacity of the dam. You are right. And most importantly, siltation of the riverbanks and the waterways is also one of the biggest problems that we are facing. Another biggest problem that we are facing is human factors. Human beings do use to build houses right inside waterways.
But the government is supposed to stop them, sir.
We stopped them. We demolished up to about 4,000, 5,000 homes. Some years back when I took over power as the governor of Borno State. But you know, in a democratic society, although I am resilient enough, people complain that we are trying to displace them. You know what I'm saying. So people thought that government is trying to displace people, but many have seen what has happened.
While some may argue that natural disasters are unfortunately a fact of life, neglecting to protect infrastructure to help people to cope with it is not right. That's our show for today. Thank you for watching. From me, Ayola Kasim, and the Earthfile team here in Lagos, it's bye for now.